Welcome to the Science of Advertising Show, episode 10, the show where we disclose the advertising secrets that brands use to influence and persuade human behavior. On today's show, we have Dr. Jared Cooney-Horvath, the preeminent expert in the field of educational neuroscience, but focused on memory formation, learning, and attention, and your host, Jonathan Rowley. Dr. J, welcome to the show.
Double digits, episode 10. We've made it.
We have made it.
We're syndicated.
I had to double take you there for a second because I'm like, is this Dr. J? Is it not Dr. J? Look at that haircut.
Something is different about me. Yes, it's called COVID restrictions have been lifted.
I nearly didn't recognize you without that COVID mop, but I'm kind of glad it's gone.
I know I like the spiky, like it's not perfect, but you know, my wife says, hey, you got that kind of like teen grunge thing going on, and I'm okay with that grungy look.
Yeah, right. Your wife's like teenagers. That's interesting.
That's horrible. That's not at all what I meant by that sentence, but I see how you took it that way.
Floats her boat.
But you're still cutting your own hair?
I've been cutting my hair for like the last 6 or 7 years. Do you want to tell you why? Have I ever told you?
Why? Did somebody butcher it once?
No, 2 reasons. I used to go get my hair cut
reason
every
number
week.
1.
Yeah, number 1 was time. I used to go in and it'd take me an hour to go and find a car park, go and get a haircut and come out. I used to get a haircut every week or 2. And the second reason, I can cut my own hair. Oh, and it was about $50 a haircut. Yeah. So I can cut my own hair now in under 5 minutes. I can do it once a week and I don't pay any money for it.
What do you use, like the vacuum, the suck and cut? Or you just kind of...
What is the suck and cut? No,
you remember the suck and cut from the 90s?
I do not use the suck and cut.
It was this little, I shit you not, this is a real thing. You put a device on the end of your vacuum that had clippers in it, and then you set the length and you just vacuum your hair and it cuts your hair for you. The only problem is it came out all the same exact length. So it was really good for like bowl cuts, but you never heard of the suck and cut?
No, but I feel like I'm just going to shave my head now.
Well, it truly did suck. Well, by the way, so you used to get haircuts every 2 weeks?
Yeah, at least.
You're like, that's like manscaping. You're a metrosexual.
No, I just want it to be on point.
That's the definition of metrosexual. I'm okay with being off point 6 months, on point for 1 day. Boom.
Look, whatever show. But look, mate, I'm super excited for today's show. First, we'll be digging into what to look for in a celebrity anchor as we review Wolverine in the latest RM Williams. That's right. We've got Hugh Jackman in all his glory on the show. And then speaking of celebrities, we've got the main man, Trump, Biden, election. We couldn't go past reviewing the latest creatives from the US election. And while we've got the American, I thought there is no better person to ask than what's going on with these assets. So there and compare the pair. And then we have our classic creative. Jared, what's on classic creative today?
We got, I believe it's Apple Macintosh 1984 commercial, which oddly enough has aged incredibly well.
It has indeed. We'll be reviewing why that creative is so powerful and to this date, one of the most famous creatives ever written. But first, let's have a look at Hugh Jackman in the latest from RM Williams. Over to you, Jake.
Firstly, let me say, Hugh, that we are delighted that you love RM Williams boots.
I'm actually, in love. They're great. They're amazing.
Great.
Really?
Just makes this next bit a little awkward.
Oh, we're on the same team here, mate. So,
yeah. While we appreciate how literally you've taken the clause that stipulates you can only wear RM Williams.
My word is my bond. When I say I'm in, I am all in, you know? And honestly, it's me who should be paying you. It's a privilege. It is. It's a privilege.
That's lovely to hear. I do want to note that you are allowed to, and we highly encourage you to wear other clothes.
I mean, look at this. Look at
clothes in general.
Hang on. Look at this. It's one beautiful piece of leather. Beautiful stitching, and they're comfortable. I mean, the balls of my feet just feel like they've died and were widely mourned and just went to ball heaven, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
You know? Seriously, it's changed my life.
88 handmade processes, but I think you may be missing the point.
Oh, no. I hear you. Don't worry. Loud and clear. Only RM Williams.
Yep. Are you going to stand up now?
Hang on a sec. Oh, it's just... What is this?
It's a new chair, was?
A new chair.
Mm.
That's awesome. You should be sit. Honestly, you should sit in this.
You can have that. No, I was just gonna burn it.
Everything at R.M. Williams is just so comfortable.
Not everything is comfortable.
And there we have it. Hugh in all his bold glory.
What a man. What a man.
He is indeed. Jared, do you want it?
Yeah, I'm remiss to say 2 thumbs up, but up what? Twink. All right, let me kick it off. Yes, this finally somebody has done a celebrity anchor well. And here's the only thing you need to know about why this is right at the very beginning of that ad. Before they show you Hugh Jackman, before you even know who it is, what do you see? You see the shoes and they say the name of the shoes. They've made it clear from the offset that this isn't a celebrity puff piece. This is about these shoes. Everything after that also hits, but from that first moment, that's when I said, finally, somebody did it right. It wasn't celebrity, 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 celebrity. Here's my brand. It was, here's my brand. Here's a celebrity. Watch as I bring these two together. Very smart move. What'd you think?
Look, I simply love this execution for so many different reasons. First, it's long form. It's 90 seconds. I'm loving seeing longer creative come out, especially effective creative. The hero of this ad was the idea that encapsulates the shoes. Hugh Jackman just brought it to life.
Yeah.
You know, and he did it like it was such a simple idea on so many different elements. But what I truly loved about it was the shoes were the hero. Like they really were. They said the product at least 4 times. Hugh anchored it. But the other thing to note that the idea is so amazing that the production value, it was literally one scene for 90 seconds and it held your attention the entire way and you're not going to forget it. And it's going to do huge things for the brand. It already has. And I'm not sure if you saw what it sold for.
Yeah.
No, they've just sold it for $190 million.
They sold the whole business.
R.M. Williams has just sold to Andrew Twiggy for $190 million.
Man, if you spend $500,000 to get Hugh Jackman for one day and you make 190 on the back end of that, that's not a bad investment.
Well, even better. This is what we're seeing a real trend in the moment is celebrities are getting ownership of brands to be the celebrity. So Hugh actually owned 5% of this brand. So he sold out part of the deal. Have you seen Ryan Reynolds?
No, what did he do? Did he do the same R.M. Williams?
He's not done R.M. Williams, but have you seen Aviation Gin?
No.
Aviation Gin.
So he owns the gin.
You know what? Next week, we're going to do Aviation Gin.
Yes. And I love Ryan Reynolds, a little Deadpool action. Bring it on.
Sold. $610 million.
What? For a gin company?
A gin brand sold Diageo for $610 million.
So wait a second, we're talking gin, G-I-N, not Jim, G-Y-M?
G-I-N, booze, liquor.
Okay, shoot. I'm in the wrong
so
field.
he sold that off and he's also recently launched Mint Mobile, a mobile phone company.
Huh. Is he doing the ads? I'm guessing.
And he's doing the ads and the ads are primarily based YouTube. They're awesome.
Oh.
He's funny. He's witty. We'll review both of those next week as celebrity. We'll carry a theme over. They're just genius. And there's a real trend of getting celebrities passing on a percentage and they become a shareholder, whether it's 5% or 50%, whatever it may be, even more.
I wonder if that doesn't lead to what you were just talking about how, so everything Hugh Jackman said in this commercial was spruiking the brand. It wasn't like, I just keep going back to that Jason Momoa one from the Super Bowl, how he never, I don't even know if he said the brand's name, but it was very much clearly Jason Momoa being himself, spruiking his own brand. And then this other brand just tried to piggyback on the back of it. In this one, every word out of Hugh Jackman's mouth was, damn, these shoes are nice. Wow, I really like these shoes. Even when he cracks the joke about the chair being comfortable, he finishes it with, everything at R.M. Williams is very comfortable. I wonder if that's what it takes to get a celebrity to finally not sell out, but to spruik the product is to say, you have now a percentage of it. And now they're willing to say, sweet, don't worry about my own brand. This isn't me. I'm going to make more money off of your brand.
And then Hugh's also got like 100%. Hugh's also got another brand that he's founded, which is a coffee brand called, I think it's Laughing Man Coffee.
Yeah.
Same thing. He's the ambassador, and he's actually got this. And the reason Ryan came up, because they've actually got literally this online battle they've been doing for quite some time, a couple of years, where they're literally slagging each other off. It's quite genius. They're literally leveraging each other to promote each other's brands.
I love that. And see, that's it. Is you could assume most celebrities are going to slag one another, and it's all going to be about them and their newest movie and their newest that. Now it's really just about the product, because they have skin in the game. Give a celebrity skin in the game and watch when they come to play.
So right there, let's go. Why is this ad so effective? First of all, it has that intrigue and a little bit of build. So you've got the guy that opens up, which is the man sitting behind the desk, kind of corporate. Then it pans out and you see the shoes, like the shoes are there, and then it comes. And then before you know it, Hugh Jackman's not even in frame. And then you bring Hugh Jackman into it at about 10 seconds. Bam, legs spread. He's naked in all his glory. It's got you. You're tuning in for the rest of it to see what happens.
Oh, it had me. It had me, baby.
It would have had you. I know. It would have had you. But yeah, a really simple idea, a low cost idea. You got the talent and the shoes. That is the hero. You don't need to go over and above creating big, fancy, expensive ads when you've got that. But to your point as well, the shoes and the brand were the hero.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you picked it up. It had 88 handmade processes in the ad.
Yep, heard it.
It was all about the shoes, the comfort, and the hero is, I'm only going to wear the shoes. That was the joke. That was the humor about it. It was just so simple. Like, I simply loved it. I couldn't love enough. Awesome brand. Aussies love it. And going into Hugh Jackman, he appeals to all. He has mass appeal.
He does. I don't know what it is about that guy, but he's one of the few guys in the world that guys love him and girls love him. And it could be because he was Wolverine, but dude is just smooth. You like to look at him. He's funny. You like to watch him. I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to not like him, because it's like, oh, Hugh Jackman, he's just a movie star. Oh, but he's charming. He's got this little charisma, and you're like, dude's awesome, guys. We all like him.
But he's got this universal appeal. So if you're looking at a celebrity, is there a criteria you could use to make sure that you get the right celebrity for your brand?
Well, I think it's interesting. Are RM shoes, are they only for men?
I believe they're definitely female shoes, but they're more known for male.
Well, that's it. Because okay, so you're a shoe brand. You're thinking, okay, who's going to buy shoes, guys and girls? Who's going to buy shoes for guys? A lot of the times it might be the women. Like, my wife picks out my shoe shopping. I'm sorry. I am a child. I'm sorry. But here, so now they've got to find a celebrity that's very much, like you just said, across the board. Whereas someone like a L'Oreal doesn't ever need to appeal to a man, or someone like, I'm trying to think of like like an Aussie bloke type thing, where you could get but this is a good example of, we have a product that's probably, we need to appeal to guys who want to wear it, and the women who will have their own versions of it and will help the guys make this selection. So I could see some brands not needing this wide of appeal, but this is one that needed it and they got it.
Because he appeals, like he's incredibly talented. Like he appears on Broadway, like he can sing, he can dance, he can do everything, which appeals to a certain, you know, segment. But then he's also Wolverine. So he appeals to even the more masculine, like he's a beast, he's shredded. Like he is so diverse, he's so talented. So,
and he's hot, so the women love him. He's hot, he's a good looking guy. I'm not afraid to say it.
He is a good looking guy. So when you're looking for a celebrity, they've got to be immediately recognizable. When you see them, you've just gone, I know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I trust them. So anything that they recommend, you can leverage that trust.
What's a bad celebrity endorsement? Can you think of a bad, like, I'm trying to come up with one that was just like.
The main one that jumps out to me is Latitude.
Which one was that?
Alec Baldwin.
Oh, the one where he's randomly in the pubs and he's like, but you can totally tell he's not there. Like, he filmed it against a green screen and he just walks up to somebody and you're like, dude.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin, it was Latitude Finance. It was a credit card company. Like, he just sells him out to anything. Like, and that goes on to the next point. Their ID, like their personality, does it align naturally to your brand? Could you see Hugh Jackman wearing RMs? Absolutely. Yeah. there's no reason you wouldn't go, that is a natural fit for Hugh. Whereas you go, Alec Baldwin, an American, promoting an Australian credit card, like the dude's doesn't need credit. He's not going to use it. There's no natural fit there. So how do you leverage their identity and what you associate to their identity with your brand? Is there a natural chemistry? If not, chances are it's not going to work.
That's interesting. And how often do they do it? Have they sold out, or is it like outside of like, I know in Japan, someone like Brad Pitt has done commercials, and Julia Roberts, they all do them in Asian markets, but I've never seen a commercial for Brad Pitt here. So if that dude ever decided to market something, chances are I'd say, damn, this must be important. Otherwise he wouldn't be doing it. Versus somebody like an Alec Baldwin, who the more I think about it, has probably been on a dozen different ads. He's just like, I'm the guy you go to sell product. Yay. So I think there's that kind of angle of, do I trust you as you, or do I trust you as a salesman? And if you've crossed the line into anytime I see you, it's a sales pitch, probably not going to pay all that much attention to you.
Exactly. That's why you go like Aston Martin, like James Bond character, whoever is playing at the time, is a natural fit, because you're like, I know that identity, you know, and it fits with my brand and I can leverage it. That's what you want with a celebrity, is leverage.
Yeah.
That is exactly what you want.
Is that where influencers go awry? Is that because they're influencers, they spook anything that anyone sends their way, and like, hey, read this, look at this, play this, and no one really cares. Does the influencer game even work?
The influencer game is incredibly powerful when you get it right.
Yeah.
We could do a whole segment on the influencer game.
I'd love to, because that's something I know very little about, but I'd love to dive more into to see what are the actual statistics coming off of that stuff.
And there's two parts to it. You got why brands got so much traction from influencers, especially early on. That was more to do with the media platform and the organic reach, whereas now the organic reach is like 3%. Yeah. So you get an influencer and you're only reaching 2-3% of their users or followers unless you actually pay to play. So again, the influencer game is very different, but it works on exactly the same principle. People follow someone, especially if they're an influencer, because they're recognizable, they trust them, but they want to be like them in some way. And it might be a particular area. Is it a mummy blogger? I love what she does. I love how they dress their kids. Do you know, what does she do in her home? What product does she use? Does she use my wife has actually just got a deal with a vacuum cleaner brand, but it's how she integrates, because she did this other like little cleaning segment, which she was doing in the bathroom, and just demonstrated a product which she does use day in, day out. And just as to the point where she gets, I think on average, 6 requests a day from brands.
Jeez.
She'll only take 1 or 2 a month. Yeah. And that's only if she uses it and loves it and trusts it. Because I can tell you right now that as soon as she posts something, she will get dozens of DMs going, is it good? Is it great? Where can I buy it? It is huge. People are using that as their shopping network.
How many followers does she have? Like, what does it take to be an influencer?
Oh, she's 22,000 or something. So it's not big, but they have huge influence on people. Now, influencer is far more powerful when you're looking at FMCG. So it could be makeup, beauty, chocolate. It's consumables rather than, what car do you drive, or
that's beautiful bed to sleep in type of thing.
Totally. And where influencers there was one really clever campaign the other day that had TV going live on a Sunday morning. They had all their influencers posting at exactly the same time on a Sunday morning. So literally any media channel you were tuning in at, this thing was just everywhere on all media networks as well. So very powerful. So small budgets, but
good timing.
So it does work. It works exactly the same. So anyone that's following anyone on, say, Instagram, they like them for some reason, because they like them. They want to be like them in some particular way, and they've got trust. You can influence.
So what you're telling me is, because I have 12 followers, that I've influenced 12 people's lives.
If you have 3 followers, they follow you for a reason.
Yeah, well, that's my mother, my father, my brother. My mother has 2 accounts, so that brings us up to 6.
Sorry, Dr. J, they're just pity invites.
Oh, they're just
follows.
My mother making new accounts. Yes, I'm following. Hooray. Can I just say one more thing about the Hugh Jackman, by the way? You're spot on. Is the joke matches the product, matches the guy. Everything is triangulated. Do not pick a joke that is secondary tangential. So one of the ads we did a while back was the guy pumping gas. He stops at 20. Oh, but it goes to 2001. Darn it. And it was for, I don't even remember what the hell it was for. But the point is that joke had nothing to do with the product. The joke was a joke. The product was a product. It felt like a 15-second joke, a 15-second ad. Make the joke part of the product. Otherwise, what's the point? Like the one we watched last week where the dog destroys everything and the guy now needs to get insurance. That joke is part of the product. It's not joke. There's an alien. Haha, I'm getting zipped out of a car. Now here's my product. It's like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? So this did a very good job of aligning all of that together to say there's one product here. There's one theme. It's this shoe.
It's a simple idea brought to life through the right characters.
Yeah. Bingo.
Okay. It's getting serious. Tomorrow, we have the US election. I'm not sure if you've seen the ads, but now we've got the latest from Trump and the latest from Biden. Over to you, Jake.
Here's how you can spot a zombie. Look for someone who has a corpse-like appearance, exhibits aggressive behavior, craves human flesh, and utters incoherent moans and groans.
I don't know.
With your help, we can prevent the zombie uprising.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
So let me get this straight. Less than a month to Election Day, and this is our candidate?
Yep. All we have to do is get him elected, and then we can do whatever we want.
Stop it. Stop it.
This fall, get ready for a presidential candidate unlike any other.
I think we're good.
Not good.
别忘了拜登 ，Hunter 还欠咱们呢。
Weekend at Biden's.
How long do we have to keep this up?
November 3rd.
There is only one America. No Democratic rivers. No Republican mountains. Just this great land and all that's possible on it, with a fresh start. Cures we can find, futures we can shape, work to reward, dignity to protect. There is so much we can do if we choose to take on problems and not each other, and choose a president who brings out our best. Joe Biden doesn't need everyone in this country to always agree. Just to agree we all love this country and go from there.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Trump, Biden, two very, very different approaches from an advertising perspective. Two very different approaches from a media perspective. I'm happy to take the lead on this.
Go for it. Yeah, I've got so much to think about. You go for it.
I'm really excited. Trump. He has taken the Biden character. He labeled Joe, Sleepy Joe, quite a long time ago. And there's one thing about Trump. He's very good at creating simple labels for people and reinforcing. He's the master of repetition. He just beats it into you until you start believing it.
Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe, Sleepy Joe. This ad, now I'm referring to the one where he looks not like Sleepy Joe. He looks more like a corpse.
Weekend at Bernie's.
He looks like he's dead, like getting wheeled into the boot of the car. This man looks like he's dead. The genius in this is people know Trump. They've got an opinion on him either way. What the angle is here is this is Biden. Are you going to vote for a sleepy dead president? This is who you're going to get. He's just trying to bring that candidate down so he looks better. That is the entire strategy. He's also leveraging what the scene set from the outset. But again, long form, 60 seconds, tells a story. So every time you see Joe on stage now, you're thinking, is this guy a corpse? Where is his handlers? Where are the people going to come out on stage and help him? On the flip side, you've got Biden. Biden's gone with more the traditional, inspirational. Here's what I'm here to do. He's got Sam Elliott, the voice.
Oh, is that who the narrator was?
Yeah. So
Okay.
straight out of The Star is Born, an iconic voice. And you've
Big
also
Lebowski.
Hey?
Big Lebowski.
Who's that?
He was in the Big Lebowski. He was the
Was he?
narrator of the Big Lebowski. He's the one who
I
was
haven't
talking to the
seen
dude. Oh my God. Oh, go see a movie.
I haven't seen it. But we've also got the iconic song, The Star
Played on
Spangled.
a rickety old ass piano.
Correct. So there's a real appeal here and a very different approach. And this is Joe trying to pull the country together. You know, let's all get together. We're going to go forth and we're going to conquer. So a very different approach. Like contextually, if you take everything else out, actually, I'll cut to you. Let's get your thoughts and then we'll talk about where they sit.
So you're right. So this is a brilliant compare the pair because it's not like one is horrible and one is good. We're just contrasting styles. And you've got the attack ad versus the positive ad. You've got one that's mudslinging and you've got one that's saying, no, here's what I'm actually going to do. The problem is what are people going to respond to more? The reason why mudslinging is such a popular tool in politics is because it works better than what everyone claims they want. Everyone says, we want you to tell us your policies. We want to know what's going on. No, you really don't. If you wanted that, you'd watch PBS News at night. Instead, you watch reality TV shows about women throwing drinks in front of each other's faces. Why? Because we don't like the truth. We like the drama. So Trump plays the drama card. He says, all right, sweet. I'm not even going to you don't even need to see my face. It doesn't matter because all I'm here to do is make fun of that guy and make you not vote for him. Biden comes on playing what I would personally hope is the more important card, I'm going to help the environment. I'm going to lower taxes. We're all in this together. We can make this work. Problem is, outside of his constituency, no one's going to listen to that message. Because if I'm a Trump supporter and I start hearing that music, I'm already out. The reason I like Trump is because he's mudslinging. So it's a real personal, like ideological, ethical problem whereby I hate the mudslinging, I hate the drama, I hate the reality TV show aspect of it, but I also know that emotion sells better than logic. And in this instance, when I have to compare the pair, all things being equal, I gotta say Trump's ad is going to be more powerful because it's the one I'm gonna think about later. It's the one that made me giggle. It's the one that took me on a narrative, on a journey. Biden's ad is the one that made me think 3 times through it. A, why are you going so slow? B, is that a kid playing that piano? And C, the hell are you using this piano for? It was so annoying. I couldn't stand that piano music. So I was wondering, while I was watching it, I was wondering if the message would have been more powerful with a different song. If it didn't sound like a kid, like I'm teaching my nephew or my niece, 5-year-old niece, how to play this on her little dinky piano.
Do you think that was just trying to match the tonality of the pace of the read though?
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. But there was something about that specific piano that made it sound so old westy and tinny.
Yeah.
That
But
I kept
do you
going
reckon
as a
that was
kid
the
playing.
appeal though? Because it also, it's important to note this featured in the World Series. So it was like, it was, and you're looking at the battleground states, it is, the Midwest. I'm just curious to see if that was the intent on trying to appeal.
It is, but you've kind of seen that done better by every candidate in the last 20 elections. I mean, it's not new. The play a local anthem or a national song that everyone's going to recognize, have a narrator, show some generic shots of wheat, of workers. It's been done a million times. So as soon as it starts, we know it's going to happen. And it's been done well. But in this instance, I just think they picked such a weird song that it almost sounded creepy at times. Like this is a horror song. I'm like, what are you doing?
Look,
if you're gonna go with an old, tired and true method, you've got to bring something fresh to it. And absolutely nothing fresh was brought to that.
Well, you've raised an incredibly important point. So we've got to have attention. So if you go, I've seen this a million times. I've seen this in every other political campaign. There's nothing new here. I'm tuning out. It's not going to hold attention. So you're not going to be able to influence, but you also go like, what's the impact of the ad post? What is the objective? Trump's objective was simple. Every time you see Sleepy Joe on stage, you think of Sleepy Joe, and that's what you associate with. I don't want a sleepy corpse running the country.
Yeah.
What's the objective of Biden? Cool, there is unrest. There's a lot of tension. I'm trying to bring it all together. It's not that well branded. You don't really associate it with Biden. You just go, it was a relatively well produced, creative, with a feel good unity style of theme. Trump, in my opinion, absolutely crushed this one in terms of where they're sitting and what you could do v. Biden. But on the flip side, you're sitting there with Biden. What could Biden actually do?
What is his other option?
What are his other options?
I actually saw a really good ad that it wasn't sponsored by him, but so it was by his constituency, but not endorsed. That just said it was a mudslinging ad about Trump, and it said Trump wasn't lying about blank, but here's what he was lying about. Or no, Trump is no longer sick from COVID, but here's all the things he still is sick with. And it kept just popping out all these lines he'd say and things he said to women and really awkward things he said about his daughter and his family and about going backstage to see girls naked at his pageant because it's his pageant. And at the end of that, you come out going, damn, I forgot that guy was a sleaze. And he is an absolute sleaze. Powerful commercial. Why? Because it's mudslinging. It's emotional. It brings up the high points. And that's, if you're Biden, you've got two choices. Is either you sling mud back, which is what Hillary tried and failed. So I think he's left with the other option, which is nothing. Stay as quiet and silent as possible, which is why you never hear from the dude, and just let Trump beat himself.
Yep. Let him self-implode. So who's your tip for the election then?
Oh, I don't even think it's a game. I think Biden's got this locked, loaded, and signed, sealed, delivered. And the only reason Hillary lost, so far as she still got the popular vote, is because the vast majority of Democrats didn't vote. Is they thought it was so in the bag that they didn't have to go out and vote. Meanwhile, all the Trump supporters did. This year, now that they know it ain't signed, sealed, and delivered unless we get out there and put our name on a piece of paper, watch as the numbers just go through the roof. I don't think it's going to be close. But with that said, tomorrow night, you only have to watch one state. Florida is the only state you have to watch. If Trump wins Florida, game on. If Trump loses Florida, it's done. It's done before anything on the West Coast is counted.
Interesting. I think they're close to 100 pre-poll, 100 million now pre-poll.
All the mail-in votes.
Yeah.
See, that's why it kind of hurts me because I don't mean to get political, but personally, I love the ads that tell you what you do. I hate mudslinging. I hate this guy is bad, so vote for me. I love here's why you should vote for me. I'm the only one who's going to do anything about climate change or this, that, and the other. But really, when push comes to shove and I have to watch two 60-second ads, I'm more drawn to the one that's more emotional.
Look, and none of them really have a real clear path for the future of what the future looks like. Yeah. It's more about let's just sling shit on each other, and that's what they're doing. And you can see it in the debate. It's hard to watch because it is mudslinging.
It's compelling as hell. That first debate was a train wreck, but my gosh, it was a compelling train wreck. You watch it because you think to yourself, man, you get a moral high ground. You get to sit above it all and say, at least I'm not these two jabronis. But that just shows you how simple we can be, where our emotions drive a lot of our attention. And I want to pay attention.
The emotion's a powerful, powerful thing. Now, I'm going to go against you. I'm actually going to go the outsider. I think Trump may just crawl across the line.
Hey, if he does, I'll take it. I think that'd be interesting as hell. If 4 years ago and today, all the pundits were so wrong, that would at least put a nail in the coffin of
I'm going out on a limb, and everything I'm saying, Trump will just get across the line.
Okay, I love it. If it happens, I'm cool with that.
Now that goes against the polls. It goes against everything. It even goes against the number one thing that we should be looking at right now is when there is a state of fear and panic within humans, we want someone to protect us and keep us safe. We saw it in New Zealand. Jacinta, she got up by overwhelming majority because she kept her people safe. They did not care. We saw it in Queensland.
No.
where
you
we've
do
seen-
not know Americans. The difference between Australians and New Zealanders and Americans are we do not want someone to take care of us. The one thing we're good at is saying, do not nanny me. When I'm sick, I don't go to the hospital. My wife doesn't get why I've never been to the hospital, because as Americans, that's our culture.
Because you had no health care.
No, we in America, when you get, if something happens, as soon as the government hears you're sick, your healthcare premiums go through the roof. So no one wants to be taken care of there. So I don't know. I see what you're saying about Queensland and New Zealand, but what are you thinking?
Well, this would go someone that's going to keep me safe. Trump's just gone, open up businesses, let's go. Whereas Australia, we've been nearly 30 years without a recession. So we don't see the problems with the economy that's going on right now. It is a train wreck, an absolute train wreck, and the people can't see it. All they're scared about now is the virus. Keep me safe. That is their number one concern. Our future, our economic future, our kids' future. We're never going to pay this debt back for at least 80 years. But we don't care because keep us safe. Mummy and daddy, please. We're wrapped in cotton wool. So this is where I'm going. I'm going against. You know, if Biden was going, I'll keep you safe versus Trump, whereas Trump's going, open up. The US has done it so hard, and especially in those states that we're talking about where he needs to win.
Yeah.
Do you know, they're people that are going, I can't go to the diner and work. I can't feed my family. Open this thing up or we're starving. We're on the street. They care more about their jobs and earning $1 than they do about getting locked down and wearing a mask. Like, it's interesting. You got two different opinions there. So Trump has an appeal with a percentage of the demo.
Yeah.
The challenge will be, what is that percentage? And they've done a very good job of really going to town on Biden. He's a horrible candidate. What's he done in the last 47 years? Hunter Biden scandal. He's selling out to Russia. He's selling out to Ukraine. He's in China's pockets. He does not have your best interests. So he's really appealing to the American within the Americans.
Yeah. And that's his base. I think you're spot on. I didn't know you were going to go there, but I agree with you. I hadn't even thought the fact that Florida was one of the worst hit by COVID. And they're one of the ones like Victorians who are saying, let us go. It's okay. We're okay. I'm okay to be sick. I need to pay rent. And so those are the kind of people who he needs to win Florida. And you're absolutely right. Those are the people he's going to appeal to, the ones where he's saying, don't shut down your state. Don't do it.
And I think Trump's done a phenomenal job of bringing down Biden in terms of bringing him to the point where people just go, this guy is asleep. You know, is he going to survive a full term? You know, there's so much doubt around him that he's tried to raise, and people that are looking at it, that will appeal to them to scare them going, you know what, I don't even like Trump, but I'd rather him than Biden. So it's not that
there are times too, and so I'm going to go kind of off piste here, so excuse me, but I'm getting political, so turn off the TV station if you don't like this. So I'm neuroscientist, psychologist. So one of the things we have to do is we do in neuropsych, we diagnose patients. Cool. I don't have to do it often, but it's one of the things we had to train to do. There are certain telltale signs that somebody is entering a stage of dementia. Now, when we say dementia, we don't know what kind. It could be frontal dementia, it could be Alzheimer's, it could be semantic dementia. You really don't know until someone has died and you can dissect their brain what dementia they had. But there are some telltale signs that, yes, someone is getting dementia. There's going to be issues coming up pretty quickly. Multiple occasions I've seen those signs whenever I haven't seen Biden talk often. He just doesn't show up. And I think he's doing that for a reason, to say, hey, Trump, you do your own thing. You're going to lose on your own steam. But the other part of me now thinks when I see him talk, there's been 2 or 3 times when I've just been watching him and my alarm went, whoa. If I was in a suite diagnosing somebody and I saw that behavior or heard those phrases, I would very quickly go, red flag, something might be going on here. And I just keep seeing it. I don't know why. Maybe they are talking about it in the US. I haven't been following the news stations there, but that's a very real, and I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be, but I'm trying to be very honest when I say I'm not 100% sure in 4 years where his mental state is going to be.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like the media networks, and that's what's going on in the state. You're probably not following it, but you know, the media networks are doing an amazing job of protecting Biden. Like
Yeah.
literally you tune on, and everything I'm hearing from the States at the moment, I've got a couple of intelligence sources I get information from just to get a read. Because, from a business perspective, if Trump gets in or Biden gets in, I'm prepared either way.
Yeah.
But you've got to be prepared either way, and you can't be hitched. Whatever your opinions may be, it doesn't matter. The world changes and you've got to adapt. But the news sources are protecting Biden in a phenomenal way, but they are pumping Trump, but it's all blasting Trump. Why would you trust this? Like, they're sledging him incredibly hard. Like, it's phenomenal. Like, but he's also, his name's up in lights at every opportunity. And that's the other thing. Whenever there's a crisis, you've got the opportunity to have the microphone like Dan Andrews did every day. Dan Andrews has come out and, like, he's got an amazing majority behind him. Like, they love him because he kept everyone safe. Even though he caused the whole thing, he kept everyone safe.
That's crazy to me. That's the thing. I don't get that. He still got, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get political again. He still got the majority favorable vote.
They love him more.
Why?
Because
this dude, literally the only reason we've had to go through stuff is because he refused to follow the lead of everyone else. So we can trace it right back to him, the reason why we had a second shutdown. And B, this is almost what you were talking about last week. It's almost Stockholm syndrome-ish, where we're thanking the guy who has put us in a pseudo prison. And we're so happy when he gives us little trinkets and here's a little bit of food. And it's like, no, that is dangerous. And that's nonsense. Never be happy when somebody takes away your rights. Even if it's to save your life, do not be happy about it. Rebel against it, be angry about it. And when it's all said and done, you're done. Now, I can see, so we were talking about this the other day. Militarily, we're in a different camp. When it comes to protecting citizens in a country due to some sort of external incursion or war, we're in a whole new ballgame because we're talking weapons, we're talking economy, that matters. But when it comes to health, it is not the job of the government to save your life. It is not. Otherwise, all healthcare around the world should be free. You should be mandatory checkups, mandatory vaccines. And I know there are some people out there who believe in this stuff, but from a back end, it just doesn't make sense that a group of people can dictate you act, breathe, inject, do anything in a very specific way. That's the point of personal freedom, is you now get to choose the decisions you make to say, yeah, I might get sick if I go out, but that's my choice.
But I think that's also the distinction between a Trump and a Biden as well. There's an opinion there as well. Like, one's probably a little bit more liberating than the other, and they've got some opinions on that. But look, I think it's going to be phenomenally close. Look, I think everyone's, the smart money is going Biden. I'm going to go against it. I know I'm the outsider, and I'll put my name to it. I'm Trump. Small chance of him getting up, but that's where I'm going.
Here's the racehorse for, isn't it Derby Day today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Cup.
That's it. It's Cup Day. Cup Day in
Cup
the US.
Day. Speaking of some of the biggest events on the planet, this was one of the biggest events ever to hit the Super Bowl. It is none other than Apple's 1984. Over to you, Jake.
It's time for a blast from the past.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the Information Purification Directives. We have created, for the first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of being contradictory thoughts. Purification of thoughts is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
This is one of the greatest of all time. Synonymous. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it. And there's a story behind it. I actually went into a bit of research to dig into it, to learn more about the history and how it came about. Do you know the story?
No. Can I take a quick stab at something?
You stab away.
I'll bet at the time out, this was one of the most expensive commercials ever made. Is that true?
I don't know about cost.
Oh, dang. I would be very interested to follow it because it just, but now, okay, give me the story behind it. That was just my one thing I was thinking.
So George Orwell's 1949 novel, 1984, that was a dystopian future, and that was what they were bringing to life. So again, it's hard to get the truth because there's several different stories and narratives around how this ad idea came to life. So first of all, they wanted to introduce Macintosh. The criteria was it's got to be famous. It's got to be brave and it's got to be different. That was kind of it. So that's where they went back to George Orwell's and it aligned with the year as well. So interestingly, when the idea came to the Apple board, they said no. Steve said, if you don't pay for it, I will. Steve Wozniak as well, they were going to fund it 50-50.
Yeah.
They loved the idea, like they were backing this horse. Didn't get to that. Apple actually funded it and it went live. They only paid for one spot in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were the first brand to build a Super Bowl ad. Now you look at every ad in the Super Bowl, everyone builds Super Bowl ad, but Apple kicked this off.
Yeah.
Now you can go into it and you can go, why was it so effective? Which we will. Oh, did you know Ridley Scott directed it?
I did not.
No.
Another little tidbit.
Another little tidbit. But you go, why? This goes to story, the principle around story. Why is story so powerful? We've discussed it several times. This one's a really clear. There's a hero, the young lady running down with the hammer, and there's the villain. You know, it's Big Brother. It's technology that's controlling everyone else. There's no freedom there. This is where Apple comes in. It's the only hope outside of IBM. That is Apple. Now, the thing that I can't land with this or haven't been able to establish, there's rumor and conjecture that they designed this ad only to appeal to a few thousand or tens of thousands of people, which are kind of your nerdy demographic that will fall in love with this product. They will become your pillar to grow your customer base.
Yeah.
So they only wanted to appeal to a certain demo so they could get their customer base and grow from there. That is incredibly brilliant if you're doing that because you're getting raving fans and you're starting from somewhere rather than trying to appeal to mass.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not because I felt, especially after it went live, it had mass appeal. People were talking about this ad. They were talking about this ad as much, if not more than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's true, but if it was, it's still it's brilliant. But yeah, look, there's so much to love about it. They've told a brilliant story. It was so different to it was so different. It really broke new territory. It broke new ground and it told an amazing story in a really simple way.
Yeah. And when you go back, this is one of those perfect contextual things is when you go back to when it was made, it's like Die Hard. If you have a kid watch Die Hard now, they're like, that's okay. But they don't realize that no, before Die Hard, no movie did that. Now every movie does it. So they're sick of it, but they didn't realize that was it. And that's the same with this is I can't recall before this commercial coming out, any commercial being a film before, being very clearly shot like a film, edited like a film, presented like a film. Most commercials were still at the stage of here's a product, here's a price, come get that product. Like the sales pitch. This was different at the time. Now we're so used to commercials being like this that we forget, we don't recognize that, oh, it's one of many. No, it was one of only one. And so super ridiculously powerful in its visuals and its storytelling. And oddly enough, it's aged very well in that the 1984 film stock that they used, and for some reason they must have lost the original film stock because now all I can find are cheap digital VHS knockoffs.
Yeah.
That only enhances it. For whatever reason, that 80s age of it makes it even better. It's still good to this day with the grain, with the grit, with the little lines on the top and the bottom. So it's one of those odd things because they were telling a story for a time, it suits it. As we get older and look back on it, it fits that time more and more and more. The one trippy thing with this commercial, like you can't fault it. It's got to be best of the best of all time. This is gold class stuff here. The big joke, though, to me on my end is, so the entire point is about individuality and freedom, breaking away from the mold. You can be yourself over here. And I don't know if the irony has struck them, but the biggest cause of non-individuality and conformity and echo chambers, all this is computers, is especially Mac. Mac has built such an unbelievably united singular front that the very thing, like Apple Macintosh people are all, it's like a cult. They're the same types of people. And this idea that this is going to give you individuality somehow has morphed into, nope, you're now an Apple person. I hope the irony isn't worn off, that this thing that was meant to be one thing literally just led people down. It's like when a bunch of alt rock people listen to a rock band, they're like, I'm cool because I listen to Weezer. And they don't realize that, no, all alt rock people are listening to Weezer. That's just a different group. You're still in a group. You just happen to be over here. You're not independent. It's the same thing with this. Apple became its own little big brother. And now someone else has got to step up and say, aren't you ready for something different?
Yeah, look, mate, you're spot on. As always, Dr. J, but like one of the greatest of all time, tells an incredible story, hero villain, but very different, but very simple. You only have to watch it once and you've got the story, it landed, and you want to talk about it. You wanted to go, did you see that? What was that about? Wow, what's Apple? That is what the effect they were looking for, and that's what they got. But Dr. J, looks like my camera is freezing and everything's happening. So look at that slow-mo.
You're fro. Here he comes. Oh,
catch up. Dr. J, let's call it a day. Mate, let's see what happens in the US election. You're gone Biden. I've gone Trump.
Boom.
And we will see who the victor is.
And next time, Blast from the Past, I've got another Super Bowl favorite. I'm going to select it.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. J.
Thank
Speak
you,
soon.
guys.
Till next time. Over and out.